Single dad saw a mother cancel her daughter's birthday cake. His next act moved an entire nation. The moment the words left her mouth, everything in the bakery went silent. "I need to cancel the order," the young mother whispered, her voice cracking as she set the small pink order slip on the counter. "I can't. I just can't afford it right now." Behind her, unseen, stood a man who had just lost everything once himself, and who was about to remind an entire city what it meant to give when you had nothing left to give. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet power of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, hit that like button right now, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this with someone who needs a little hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Corner so you never miss a story like this one. Now, let's get back to Daily Bakery, on a gray Tuesday morning that was about to change 3 lives forever. Marcus Reed had walked into Daily Bakery for one reason only, to pick up a coffee before his morning shift at the auto shop. He was 34 years old, a single father raising his 6-year-old son Elijah alone since his wife passed 2 years earlier, and he had learned, the hard way, how to stretch $1 until it screamed. Every cent he earned went toward rent, groceries, and the mounting medical bills that never seemed to shrink no matter how many extra hours he picked up. He wasn't a wealthy man. He wasn't even a comfortable one. But he understood pain in a way that made him notice it in other people, even when they tried to hide it. That morning, standing near the pastry case with his coffee in hand, Marcus noticed a young woman at the counter. She looked to be in her late 20s, dressed in a worn work uniform from a nearby diner, her eyes rimmed red from either exhaustion or tears, maybe both. In her trembling hands was a small pink slip of paper, an order form for a custom cake. Marcus watched as she slid it across the counter to the baker, a kind-faced woman named Renee, and asked to cancel it. Renee's expression softened with concern. "Is everything all right, sweetheart?" she asked gently. The young woman, whose name Marcus would later learn was Danielle, shook her head and tried to smile, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. "It's my daughter's 6th birthday tomorrow," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I ordered the cake 3 weeks ago, back when I still had my second job. But I got laid off last week, and I don't have the $60 for it anymore. I have to choose between the cake and her medicine refill this month, and I can't choose the cake." The words hit the room like a physical weight. Marcus felt his chest tighten. He knew that math. He had done that exact math himself more times than he could count, standing in a pharmacy line, calculating whether Elijah's inhaler prescription would leave enough for groceries, whether a birthday gift could wait another month. He knew the particular shame of having to say no to your own child, not because you didn't love them enough, but because love alone couldn't pay a bill. He watched Danielle's shoulders curl inward, as if she were trying to make herself smaller, trying to disappear from the humiliation of the moment. Renee reached across the counter and gently took Danielle's hand. "Don't you worry about canceling anything today," she said, though even she looked uncertain about what she could actually do. Danielle shook her head quickly, embarrassed now, glancing around the bakery as if suddenly aware that other customers were watching. She pulled her hand back and reached for her purse strap, ready to leave before the tears building in her eyes could fall in front of strangers. That was the moment Marcus stepped forward. He didn't make a speech. He didn't ask for attention or wait for anyone to notice him. He simply walked to the counter, pulled out his wallet, and told Renee to put the full cost of the cake on his card, along with a dozen cupcakes to go with it, decorated however Danielle's daughter would love most. Danielle turned toward him, stunned, her mouth opening to protest, but Marcus just shook his head and said quietly that he understood. He told her, simply, that he was a father too, that he knew what it felt like to want to give your child everything and to be able to give them so little, and that no parent should ever have to choose between medicine and a moment of joy for their kid. Danielle broke down right there at the counter, pressing her hand over her mouth as tears spilled freely down her face, not from sadness now, but from the overwhelming relief of being seen, of being helped by a stranger who asked for nothing in return. Renee, watching the exchange, wiped her own eyes with the corner of her apron. Other customers in the bakery had gone quiet, some pulling out their phones, not to record for spectacle, but because something about the scene felt too important not to remember. What Marcus didn't know that morning was that one of those customers, an older woman named Patricia who came to Daily Bakery every Tuesday, would post about what she witnessed on a community social media page that evening. She didn't use his name, since she didn't know it, but she described the single father who paid for a stranger's daughter's birthday cake without hesitation, without cameras, without asking for a single thing in return. The post spread further than anyone could have predicted. Within 2 days, it had reached tens of thousands of people. Local news picked up the story, eager to identify the mystery man. When Marcus was finally found, humble and almost embarrassed by the attention, he told reporters he hadn't done anything special, just what any parent would do for another parent, if only they stopped to notice. But people didn't see it as ordinary at all. Messages poured in from across the country, from parents who remembered their own hardest years, from people who had once been the ones needing help and never forgot who showed up for them. A local business owner reached out to offer Marcus a better-paying position at his shop. A community fund was started in his name, one he insisted be redirected entirely toward helping other struggling families afford birthday cakes, school supplies, and small joys that often get sacrificed first when money runs thin. Danielle and her daughter, whose birthday cake started it all, became close friends with Marcus and Elijah, their two families now bonded by a moment neither of them would ever forget. If this story touched your heart even a little today, please take a moment to like this video and leave a comment. It truly helps this channel keep sharing stories like Marcus and Danielle's with more people who need a reminder that kindness still exists in this world. And before we go, we have one small request. Please comment the word kindness below if you believe that even the smallest act of generosity can change someone's entire day. Marcus never set out to become anyone's inspiration. He was just a tired, grieving father trying to get through another hard week, who happened to notice someone else's pain and chose, in that single ordinary moment, to make it a little lighter. And sometimes, that is exactly how an entire nation learns, once again, what kindness really looks like.